Let's recall how far we've come. In the first guided meditation, we unearthed the existence, albeit an illusory one, of the worker. In the second guided meditation, we sought to, in our direct experience, examine two features of the worker, to wit, that of craving and that of suffering. In this, the third guided meditation, we want to take a closer experiential look at a specific craving. Let's also recall a particular definition given in the second guided meditation. There, I defined the ego self as identification with the limited. One can identify with mind arising or with physical body arising or with doer in the form of the worker arising. In these meditations, we seek to deconstruct that third identification, namely that of the doer in the form of the worker. We begin to do so right now. In the first sutra, or sutta, or discourse, Gautama the Buddha outlines the Four Noble Truths. The third one will be most pertinent for us today. The first noble truth is that there is suffering. The second is that there is a source of suffering. The third is that there is a cessation of suffering. And the fourth is that there is a path leading to true liberation. I would like to share with you my interpretation of the first noble truth. To say that there is suffering is, by my lights, to say the following. Whenever and wherever there is craving, there is suffering. Thus, one interpretation of the second noble truth, namely the cause or source of suffering, is craving. Craving, on this interpretation, is the cause of our suffering. Which brings us most importantly to the third noble truth. I would like to quote from memory one of the ways in which the Buddha speaks here. When he considers how craving falls away, and therefore how suffering falls away, he states the following. Suffering ceases when there is the, quote, remainderless fading away and relinquishment of all cravings. The first part will be sufficient for our purposes. We wish to examine the remainderless fading away of at least one specific craving. Let us do so now. Use your mind to call forth one specific craving associated with your relationship with work. It might help if I provide you with my own definition of craving. This will help to jog the mind, bringing something forth. Craving could be defined in either of the two following manners. No to this here and yes to that there. Or lack here, lack me, lack in me, lack right here, and alleged fullness over there, beyond me, etc. Craving, therefore, just is the dynamic process moving from no to this and yes to that, or lack here and fullness there. I don't want, I don't like, I can't bear here, and I want, must have, must possess, fantasize about that over there. I think this is sufficient for our purposes to return to the question at hand. Again, then, ask yourself, what is a specific craving? No to this, yes to that, lack here, fullness there, that I have often experienced in connection with work, and therefore in relation to my alleged identity as the worker. Go ahead and call forth that specific, strong craving now. Notice that the typical reaction to the existence of a craving is to try to fulfill it. Not so today. We will not, as it were, turn away from it, and turning away from it, try to fulfill it. Instead, we will simply dwell with it, gently, openly, lovingly observing it. So then, once again, call that craving to mind. And if need be, locate it somewhere in the body if that is available to you. Let it be clear, direct, strong. Now is the time then to simply, openly be with the craving, observing it from the standpoint of the witness. As this unfolds, just see how the craving fades away. Does it not slowly fade away? Keep watching. Is there even one bit left? Is there any remainder of this craving? If it comes again, just observe it just as skillfully and just as patiently as you did the first time. If it comes again, do the same. Notice how, of its own accord, the craving transpares, dissolving into who knows what. Keep observing until there isn't one bit left. Be careful here. The point is not to invoke a second order craving, according to which you would want to, quote, get rid of the first order craving. That is not meditation. That is simply more craving. Do not try to get rid of any craving whatsoever, especially this one. Simply let it be as it gently unfurls itself, thereby becoming nothing. Remember what the Buddha says. This is the remainderless fading away of this craving. How beautiful that we don't have to be doers here, nor are we. The craving just comes apart of its own accord. Now, the key to this inquiry or meditation is that as craving subsides or fades away, so does this conception of the ego self. That is the conception of the ego self as the worker. Can you not see clearly right now that as craving fades away, so does the worker? As the worker fades away, so does craving. Since both, namely doership and craving, perpetually rely upon one another, to let one go is also to begin to let the other one go. This is indeed a virtuous circle, not a vicious one. Drink deeply of this experience. How beautiful is it to see right here as the worker fades away, as the craving fades away. What is there left to either? You might already ask, who is it that is right here? Who is it that is right now? Since manifestly it is not the worker, and manifestly it is not the restless perturbations of craving. Can you not feel deep restfulness, openness, spaciousness, gentleness, patience, perhaps even love, as you sink more fully into this wide, open, empty space? You see how you are now ready for the next inquiry, but no need to crave. The next inquiry being, who am I if I am not what I thought and felt I was? Who am I if I am indeed not the worker after all? Who am I when all of these cravings associated with allegedly being the worker have slowly faded away?